If you're flying to the U.S., better keep your carry-ons charged up. I'm Bridget Carey, and this is your CNET Update. If you're on an international flight to the United States, make sure your cell phone is charged up before going to the airport. The Transportation Security Administration is taking extra measures to scan for threats from overseas passengers. And there's a new rule. If you're on a U.S.-bound direct flight, you may be asked to power on your cell phone or your tablet or any electronic device. But if it has no battery or if it can't turn on, it won't be allowed on the plane. Reports suggest that this increased security is in response to information that terrorists can turn smartphones into undetectable bombs. And I wouldn't be surprised if it's even harder to find an open power outlet now in an airport. In other news, it seems like Apple is gearing up to launch a smartwatch very soon. Apple hired a top sales executive from Swiss luxury watchmaker Tag Heuer. It's expected that we'll see an iWatch, or whatever Apple's going to call it, sometime in the fall. It'll be alongside the new iPhone. But this shows that Apple thinks it'll need some help from the Swiss to sell this thing. There are several challenges in convincing people to buy a smartwatch. They aren't always stylish because they are pretty large. The battery doesn't last more than a day, and they're pricey. Most of the Android smartwatches out there are $200 or more. It's just a really expensive accessory that can do the same things a smartphone can do. Apple has been channeling some wisdom from the luxury fashion world. Last year, the company hired the former CEO of Yves Saint Laurent to work on special projects, and the head of UK's Burberry Group now oversees Apple's retail operations. As for other gadgets you can soon buy, there's a report that a mini version of the Microsoft Surface tablet could soon launch, maybe within the next month or two. The usually reliable Twitter account of EvLeaks says that Microsoft is anticipating a summer release. And in the world of virtual reality, the Oculus Rift headset isn't for sale to the public yet. It's expected to launch next year, but Oculus announced that it will hold its first developers conference to lure in software makers to make virtual reality programs. The conference will be held in September in Los Angeles. Now, we've seen the Oculus in action at events like the Consumer Electronics Show and E3, but it needs more content and programs for people to feel compelled to buy it. Now, in the meantime, Sony is creating its own virtual reality headset to compete, which is now called Project Morpheus, and it'll work with the PlayStation 4. That's your Tech News Update. You can get more details on these stories at CNET.com. From our studios in New York, I'm Bridget Carey.